Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Update. We've got some breaking news tonight out of Charlotte, North Carolina, at that great park down south known as Carowinds. Now, Danny, previously we've done updates on the new Project Alpha that we got some confirmation on, that Carowinds has been doing some construction, some clearing down there. We speculated a few weeks ago whether or not that would be a new GCI roller coaster. But Danny, it seems that we were a little bit off the mark because
we've taken a turn, Andy.
Taken a little turn because now Screamscape is coming out real hard and saying that this is going to be a brand new steel coaster, a Mack double launch coaster. Added on to this, we also had some trademarks filed for Carowinds
right.
in the name of Copperhead Strike.
Yeah.
Now, Danny, what do you think about this? Because if this is true, this is pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have been saying for years, and a lot of other people as well, but I mean, we've been talking about the possibility of Mack rides coming in and the possibility of us seeing some launch rides similar to like a Blue Fire style ride going into some of the Cedar Fair parks. We actually speculated that maybe Mack Rides was going to be part of the big 2018 package as that oddball ride, which ended up being Hang Time. Yeah. And we thought that, we might see something there. So now maybe, Screamscape has this layout up here. I'm not quite sure if it was stated where this came from. But
no, it just seemed he did say in it that it's close to final, but not final.
Okay.
So I'm guessing he's getting it from somewhere in the park. I don't know. Because I don't think it's something that he just drew up on his free time.
Right.
And said, hey, this is what they could do. I feel that he is speaking with some sort of authority here, and maybe a leak came from some section of the park or the city. I don't know. That's speculation. But he does have that layout up there, and
it looks really impressive. I mean, it looks like you would have a station and then a barrel roll kind of right out of the station, then into a launch.
Which makes sense if you're using the snake theme. A barrel roll right out of the station kind of would give you that idea of being on a snake's, body or something, I guess.
Yeah, so then you would launch into what looks like a vertical loop and maybe have some sort of oversized corkscrew, then maybe a crossover hill of some sort, and then a helix, then a second launch, which looks like it would go through a loop. You would have a large top hat, it would seem, then another vertical loop, and then maybe, some more twist turns, possibly another corkscrew somewhere in there, and then it looks like maybe another barrel roll at the very end before the brake run. So you're looking at anywhere maybe from like 4 to 6 inversions on something like this, and even going so far as to placing this ride in the park and on the Google Maps, similar to what we've done before, where the water ride was removed, and it looks like it would go over the wave pool, or it looks like it would go in and around, or over and around the wave pool. Is that wave pool one that's still there?
I don't think so. I think that's one that they were getting.
Is that the one? Is that the one that? Not being a water park guy, I'm not sure, but when you look at it, it does look like you would have room to do like a new plaza there, where the station of the water ride was, near where the second launch would supposedly be, and you could have an entrance there, and then between the second launch and the first launch, you would have a nice area for a queue there, and some switchbacks leading up to the station, which would kind of border on the edge of the park, and then on the back side of that park and the water park and the parking lot there. It would seem that would be a good spot for it, and it would look like that would fit in quite well. You and I have said that the two things that Cedar or Carowinds needed, they need a newer wood coaster, especially with the removal of Thunder Road. You've pretty much got Hurler and Woodstock Express. So you've got your small junior introductory wooden coaster, and then you've got your old school one, which is why we thought GCI, was a good choice. But the other thing we've always said that they need, they're one of the largest parks in the world that does not have a launch coaster.
Any launch coaster.
No.
Like they don't even have like an impulse coaster.
No.
They don't have a Flight of Fear. They don't have any sort of launch coaster anywhere in that park.
No, they don't. And, that's very unusual for parks of Carowinds size. I mean, even most parks have at least one launch coaster. Any parks that have like 5 or 6 coasters or more have at least one launch coaster. I mean, Dollywood has a launch coaster. Silver Dollar City has a launch coaster. Kings Island, Kings Dominion, Canada's Wonderland, all the, the Paramount parks all have launch coasters. California's Great America, we've talked about how, maybe that would be a good spot for them to go next with their next steel coaster. Possibly, but I don't know. We already hear the rumblings of a hyper coaster there because they've got the new wood coaster. But I mean, all your bigger parks seem to have some sort of launch coaster one way or another. I mean, most, if not all, of the Six Flags parks have them. So it would make sense that Carowinds, if they were not going to go wood coaster and are going to go steel, a launch coaster is the obvious choice. And I think you would want to go launch coaster with inversions because your 2 big signature rides right now, Fury and Intimidator, are non-looping roller coasters. Your signature looping roller coaster right now, I think, is Afterburn, and maybe after that is Nighthawk. I mean, after that, you've got Carolina Cyclone. You've got the Flying Cobras. I mean, nothing's really sticking out there. So to get
you've got the stand-up too. That's the B&M that you have, but nobody rides that ever. So
well, I mean, you need a signature looping roller coaster to kind of, it wouldn't complete the collection, but it would certainly get you one step closer.
It rounds it out nicely.
It does make it much more complete. So I think if this is indeed what we could be getting, I think it would be a great move. I want to share some thoughts on the name quickly, but I'll let you.
Well, I was just going to say that this has bigger ramifications than even Carowinds. That this means that Cedar Fair is.
This is the Mack can of worms here that gets opened up.
And we talked about this, last summer with us speculating that that Knott's would be getting a Mack coaster, and this opens up everything. Because Mack has a whole line of coasters, hyper coasters, giga coasters. They do everything.
The bobsled style, or no, those are Gerslauers. What am I thinking of?
And Danny, bobsleds aren't coasters. So
no. Like the Wild Mouse style rides. Like Gerslauer calls their bobsled model, but that's Gerslauer
coasters.
But Mack Rides Knott's has the spinning coaster from Mack already.
Yeah.
But we've seen a couple of those in the States here. I think they're a ton of fun. Sierra Sidewinder and then Turbulence, I think, is a ton of fun. I would love to see more stuff
but the stuff they're doing like with Helix and the stuff they're doing over in China with like Red Flash.
Yeah.
Like these are legit coasters. And
like the Arthur style rides, the more immersive style rides that maybe we're not getting at a Universal, but I'd love to see some park go that route.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the whole prospect of Mack, and if Cedar Fair opens up a relationship with them, I think all bets are off the table, and we can start looking forward to some pretty big things. So I guess on to the name. To me, Copperhead Strike is a strange name, but Cedar Fair has been going down the road of doing 2-word names lately. Steel Vengeance, Twisted Timbers, Mystic Timbers. Like, it seems like these 2-word names are what they like. Copperhead Strike is a little bit longer. Steel Vengeance is kind of long too. But another snake-themed ride at Carowinds, you already have. Well, Carolina Cobra is gone, and now it's called
Flying Cobras, right?
Yeah, so like another snake-themed ride.
I mean, I'm okay with it because snakes are cool.
Snakes are awesome. Look at this new Viper shirt.
No, wait a minute. Is that a Viper shirt or is that an Iron Rattler shirt?
Well, it says Viper, and it's got a wood coaster there, Danny. So,
okay.
That could be Iron Rattler. Who knows?
Well, yeah, but I mean, when you think about it, the way I compared originally. originally I thought, because, when I do rides in Roller Coaster Tycoon or No Limits, I've called rides Copperhead before because I think that's really cool. When I think it was first or second grade when I did my animal project way back when, I remember picking, in my school we had to pick like an animal to do a report on. And I remember one of the ones that I did in one of those grades was the Copperhead. And so Copperhead has always like been something that I've known what it is, and I've always thought that would be a great name for a roller coaster. And I don't think we've ever gotten one with the name Copperhead.
No, we've gotten Anaconda. We've gotten Cobras.
We've got the several Vipers. We've gotten King Cobras. We've gotten all sorts of different snake names.
We got Black Mambas. We've got the regular Mamba. We've got all those. We've got Rattlesnake, Rattler. You've got all those. We've got the New Mexico Rattler. But I don't remember here. Yeah. I don't recall ever hearing Copperhead as a name. So I always thought Copperhead would be a great name. Now, the Copperhead Strike, for me, the strike comes in with the launch. Yeah. And it makes sense to me. And this is the way I've been describing it to people. Outlaw was always a real good name for a roller coaster in a Western-themed area. Similar to what Silver Dollar City did when they announced Outlaw Run. It was kind of weird at first, and it's just, that's what we know it is now, and it's Outlaw Run. So to me, Copperhead is to Outlaw as Copperhead Strike would be to Outlaw Run. Yeah. Because you've got an outlaw, but they didn't want to glorify the outlaws, so they made it so that you're outrunning the outlaws. So it's Outlaw Run. So this is Copperhead, but with the launches, it's striking, it's fast. Strike kind of gives off the tone of something that's quick and agile, and I think that's kind of what you're going for here with a double launch ride that would have some quick, intense maneuvers. So I think Copperhead Strike kind of gives off a little bit of that feel to it. And when you've got rides like Afterburn, Intimidator, Nighthawk, I think it would be good to maybe have a ride like the Flying Cobras where it's multiple words, Copperhead Strike. And one of the things that I always say is, good coaster names have certain qualities in them. We heard John Hildebrand always say that if you want something to be iconic, it needs to be alive. It needs to be a creature, which is why they chose the bird theme for Gatekeeper and Valraven and, rides like Raptor. Those are, and Viper and Rattler, those are names that are associated with creatures. Copperhead Strike would be the same way. The other thing I've always said is, you want something that people can easily pronounce. I remember when you and I were at Hollywood Nights a couple years ago, how many times do you hear people call it the Voyager? Not Voyage. And I remember hearing one time someone go up to Mammoth and going, Mammoth? What's Mammoth? Like Mammoth is slightly obscure to the mainstream. Copperhead Strike isn't one that people are going to really... That's not one that people are going to mispronounce, I don't feel. And we talk about uniqueness. Rides like Shivering Timbers. Shivering Timbers tells you a lot about the ride, before you even get on it. It's, timbers, it's wood, it's big, shivering, it's going to shake you around a little bit. It tells you a little bit about the ride, and there's not another ride called Shivering Timbers. When you say Shivering Timbers, you know what ride you're talking about. And when you say Goliath, I have no idea what ride you're talking about. When you say Viper, I don't know which ride you're talking about. Is it the one on your shirt? Is it a different one? I don't know. And if I say Superman, I don't know which ride you're talking about. If I say Copperhead Strike, I know exactly what ride you're going to be talking about. Yeah, and I think the names would be cool, and just seeing those Mack trains in copper, hopefully.
Oh yeah,
might be pretty cool.
I could see some like dark burnt orange track with maybe dark brown or dark gray, like charcoal gray supports, and like some copper, similar to like the Maverick trains, like the Maverick trains that have that dark brown, the copper, the bronze color, and then maybe have one that's that way. Maybe have another one that's like a dark gray, and the front of the train could look like a snake, similar to how like Diamondback does. I think you could do something really, really cool with the train design and the merchandise, the logo. I think there's a lot of outstanding possibilities with something like this. You could definitely go in a different kind of direction here.
Probably get another stuffed animal for my collection here.
I'll tell you what, you probably would. He looks like you've got a few serpent type creatures back.
I got Loch Ness over there. I've got
you got Leviathan over there. Is that Leviathan?
I got Leviathan in the corner in the blue.
Is that an abominable snowman?
Yeah, the little Alpengeist action.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think there's a lot of good opportunity there.
Absolutely. So we will keep you updated. This obviously is not for sure, anywhere close to being for sure. But there's a lot of people, like we said, that are coming out strong in favor of this right now. Unusually so.
Yes.
So I will say, Screamscape usually doesn't come out this hard in favor of an idea. And
not this early.
So we'll be interested to see. They've also moved the webcam to point to this new area. So I think we're going to be starting to see some construction sooner rather than later. So as always, we will keep you updated on all the latest here at Carowinds. As always, I'm Andy Robarchak from Chicago, Illinois.
Danny Miller from Binghamton, New York.
Right on, Ride Warriors.
See you guys.